Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Edgerunners HQ and our Cyberpunk RED Talk Show, Night City Sofa. I am Jessica here with Games and hello, my friend.
Hey, Jess, how are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am feeling very old today.
It's one of those days.
Yeah, for sure.
Been there, get that. Well, hopefully we can put some spring into your step. I don't know, as we talk on tonight's show. Either that or just relax on the sofa. Just like lean into it. Put your feet up. Be like,
it's such
a
comfy
moving.
sofa for old men.
It's well worn. It's definitely well worn. During tonight's episode of Night City Sofa, we are going to be discussing the Cyberpunk RED May DLC, the Night City Hookbook. You can find all the free DLC on the Talsorian Games website at talsoriangames.com/downloadable-content. Link is in the chat and video description. Each DLC provides fantastic content, mechanical, lore, or otherwise, sometimes, but a lot of times both. They're absolutely worth checking out and completely free, so go and get those. During tonight's episode, we will be referencing Shades of Scarlet, which is the Cyberpunk RED actual play game that Games and I both have characters in, that airs on Saves vs. Death on Saturdays. You can check out the YouTube playlist, though, that's got the past 5 seasons, and that should keep you...
Nearing 200 episodes.
Occupied. Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So fair warning, there will be spoilers, but that's just because, you know, these are hooks for GMs and players. So as players, we will be talking about how, you know, our players might be able to interact with us. So there you go. So this DLC is written and designed by a variety of writers. Each one wrote for the Night City 2045 book. So all the writers who wrote for that book wrote here. There's like 13 different ones. And they're fantastic and they're wonderful. And you should download the DLC and go check them out. The DLC itself.
And apparently, I was just going to say, apparently what we learned during our talking to the writers is that originally these hooks, or something very similar to these, were in each of the sections of the Night City 2045 and then taken out later for content reasons, but we still got them in this free DLC, so
yeah, which is really, really cool.
Secret expansion.
So yeah, the DLC is 13 pages filled with plot hooks for game masters and players alike. We're going to talk about at least one hook from each district. I have sections where I refuse to cut any of them, so you can blame me for that. And we're going to do our best how to explain how you can use the hook as either a player, a GM, or both. Now normally I'd start with lore, but the hooks are lore in and of themselves, so that's, yeah, I really have no lore to start with. It's all lore. So instead, I'm going to start with the small lore before we get into the first set of hooks. And that's the lore of how this DLC... Well, actually, I was going to say I have it where it was like the lore of how this DLC came to be, but games already did that, so I'm good.
I apologize.
Nope.
I should have read your notes.
It's fine. I think it was like, is everything here? Originally, in order to keep the page count was something manageable. I think it was over 400 pages at one point, so we get this content in here, which might mean actually that the next couple DLCs may also be previously included content that got taken out just to help keep,
for one reason or another,
keep the book to a more manageable size. Cause she's thick.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even what we ended up with is massive.
Yeah, it's massive. I'm actually curious about something, so of course I'm looking it up now. Okay, so if it was over 400 pages, the core rulebook is 458 pages.
Yeah. It's already nearly
the same size as the core book, so yeah. We understand why things got cut. Alright, so we're going to jump into it, starting with Charter Hill.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the Cinema Verte plot hook. This plot hook says, Verte Lee is a wannabe BD star who wants to anti-burgle a BD that they made themselves a art house piece called Everything Matters onto the desk of Magenta Cipollina. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Basically, they want to get their mixtape in front of a producer, but they're not stealthy at all. So this pop or potential film star would like you to anti-burgle something into an office, which I love the idea of giving your characters like, all right, this is a B&E, but you're not going to leave with anything. You just need to get this in there. So it gives you a lot of opportunities with, okay, do you go in stealthy, like try to break in the middle of the night and like deal with guards and stuff like that around the office? Or do you like come up with a reason why your character would be there and try to like left-hand it in that way? I think there's a lot of interesting ways players can take this. And as something that is a lighter-hearted mission, like let's say you just did something really heavy, to do something like this as a way to like, all right, let's cool down, things are okay, and like you're building your fame, because I wouldn't expect like a well-established crew to get this by any means, but like a new crew on the street, this would be a great mission for them. Well,
unless Charity happens to be a friend that you've made or someone from your life path. If, by the way, you could swap Charity Lee out for like a friend in your life path to make it personal, that's like, hey, you know, or if you have a rocker boy who has a fan, maybe one of their fans or their entourage is like,
oh, for sure,
hey, help.
Well, and if you wanted to make this music instead of a movie, or there are so many different ways that you could modify this to fit it in your story and just make it a cool plot hook that kind of just fits around, because conceptually it's just anti-burgle something, but in a fun way.
Do you know what this makes me think of? And I'm sure you've seen it because you've seen every movie. I'm really bad, but have you seen The Losers?
Oh yeah.
And Chris Evans plays Skippy, and he does like "Don't Stop Believing" and gets on the elevator, and then like changes outfits really, and it's like his job is to like I think steal data from a computer or something. But that's what this made me think of when you were like, or you could go on to the daytime and try to bribe your way, just have this package for this person, and just nope, I'm just gonna go in like this.
Right. I feel like you could really Ocean's 11 this up if you wanted to put the time in.
100%. And I think, especially if you're a GM who has a crew that's interested in heists, but maybe, you know, you're worried about what to give them as something worthwhile or meaningful, this is it's like, you get your heist, and you don't technically have to give them a major big reward because they're not stealing anything, they're just getting paid.
Right. And they could be making a valuable contact later if Verite Lee becomes a movie star or a BD star. That's a great end to have.
Actually, as a media who, you know, every time you go up a level you get new contacts, I think one of them is like local celebrity. This would be a great way if like this mission happened like sessions before, and they were successful, and like, you know, a few minutes later the media levels up. It's like, oh, you're a local celebrity, you know, the person you helped on this mission, they've now become famous.
Right.
So
they owe you a favor.
They'll be your contact.
Famous.
Yeah, they'll start. Yeah.
Yep.
If you want, that could be your person. I think that would be really fun to do. You know, to see it in early.
Oh, for sure. I don't see a lot of ways that you could make this backstory stuff. Some of these that we'll talk about later, I can see you as a player using it as backstory stuff. This one I see as being more plot hooky than story concept-y.
It depends. Given that our GM does not lean towards heists a lot,
right,
or it's because they like combat. So, and heist is, in theory, very anti-combat.
Right. If you get in combat, it went poorly.
It went poorly. So it wouldn't work. But if you were playing Rocker Boy and you wanted to be like, well, how did you get into this? Or how did you make your big break? This could be your big break moment. Is that, you know, how did talent find you?
Right.
Oh, they didn't find me. I made them find me. This could be 100% part of your story is you hired a crew to break in to leave your demo. Your movie thing, Swags, you know, Tortoise and the Hair Trigger got big because we plopped it on some exec's desk. You know, and that's how
Well, and
I
you could
got
explain-
into Rocker Boy, you know, rank 2 was because of this.
You could explain an enemy this way too, because like you didn't pay the crew that you had do the job. You're like,
yeah.
I don't think that you actually did the job, so I'm not paying you. And then now you have this crew that's like against you.
Or if you're an exec and you have an enemy and like this person kept trying to like hand this to you and you turn them down. They even paid to get a crew to put the movie on your desk and you still said no. Enemy.
Right.
Enemy, now they've targeted you.
But there are a lot of other good ones in there you guys should check out for Charter Hill. Yeah.
All right, let's head on to downtown. And we're gonna go over the leak. So for this plot hook, the Eastern Tigers Triad has hijacked a major shipment meant for Mr. K's next midnight market. He suspects someone from within his organization leaked the info. Now, while Whitewater recovers, and Whitewater is a security company, while they recover the shipment, he needs someone to infiltrate his organization and find the leak. So, Mr. Kernigan, or Mr. K, is one of the most powerful fixers in Night City. He has a rank of 9. He has deep ties to downtown, despite operating out of the Glen. And I want to talk about this plot hook specifically because of Mr. K's night markets and midnight markets. If you are a player interested in attending a night market or midnight market, or you really want to meet Mr. Kernigan, point at this plot hook and ask your GM. Just be like, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Or if you're a fixer who wants to meet Mr. K, you know, to get that you know, contact, this is a good in. If you're a GM who wants to send your players to a night market or midnight market, this is the perfect plot hook to use. And then players, you can come up with your own way to talk to and meet members from Mr. K's staff or your GM. A regular night market can be a fantastic way to meet or spy on Mr. K's staff without arousing suspicion. If you just go to one of his markets that he's already set up and try to talk to his staff, because especially if you're so low level that he won't meet with you, that wouldn't be seen as suspicious. And in the end, the reward can be standing invitation to his night market, so long as they always, you know, behave themselves. Let them know that it's conditional.
Right, yeah, this isn't like a free pass.
Yeah, or an invite to his next midnight market where they can get some really good lucrative gear. So I thought this was a great plot hook to introduce that, like, midnight, especially if you're going to a midnight market.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that, like, this and one that you'll be talking about later, I think both of them give you contacts that are necessary to get into those more secretive things. So, because, like, there are things we would love to do in our actual play game, but we've never really had the in, you know? And it would be nice for that plot hook to be a thing.
Right? So, and again, the big thing as a player, I will say, as someone who's been both player and GM, if this interests you, tell your GM. They will appreciate it. They will know that that's where you want to go. So.
Yeah.
So that's my plot hook for downtown. That I wanted to talk about.
I'm gonna... Okay.
Not my plot hook. I did not write this.
No. So I'm gonna move on to the executive zone, and there are several that I love in here. I'm gonna talk about primarily one, and then I will mention at least one other one. But there's some good ones in here. They're not that every location doesn't have good plot hooks, but there's some locations that I like fell in love with a little more than others, for, you know, personal reasons. But the one I wanted to talk about is called, the name of the game is Humiliation. And effectively, there are 2 doctors that live in this really swanky neighborhood, and Dr. Stein used their knowledge of the Executive Zone HOA laws to call for a special election. And they are campaigning against Dr. Karen Davies. And the campaigning has got vicious. So both are looking to hire running crews to sabotage and make the other look bad. Nothing dangerous, nothing deadly, nothing overtly illegal, just to make the other person, well, you know what I mean. They just want to make the other person look bad so that they can win the election. And I love the concept of this because either your players can end up with both jobs, which I think is hilarious, or this is 100% my role-playing style as a GM. I present the players with a problem. I know what my solution would be to it, but if they do something fun and creative that I love, that's the better answer. And this just lets, like, you don't have to write out the points of, like, you're gonna embarrass them this way and this way and this way. You're just like, all right, let's see what nonsense they do. I want to see what they decide is a good plan. And I think that's beautiful.
100%.
And so that's why I picked that one.
It's also your play style, not just your GM style. Like, this, for you, this is what your character would love to do. It's like,
Right.
somewhat high stakes for them. You know, a lot of deceit and a lot of, like, pranking that is just so you.
Oh, for sure. I also wanted to just briefly mention custody dispute. Basically, if you love the big characters, the big names, this is a great mission for you, because the story is that Johnny Silverhand, before he died, promised his guitar would go to Rogue, but then Carrie Iridine ended up with the guitar, and Carrie refuses to give the guitar back to Rogue, and so Rogue is willing to hire a running crew to get the guitar back, but the guitar has to be brought back in mint condition. Nothing can happen to the guitar. So it's like, you know, all of the escort missions that you get in computer video games, except for the thing you're escorting is a guitar. So throw nonsense at them. Put the guitar in danger.
Oh God,
if
yeah.
they give you a good reason to.
I was gonna say, and I think you're not supposed to leave any evidence that it was you, because it cannot trace back to Rogue. You can't harm Carrie.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that, like, their whole heist mission of planning, getting into it to get the guitar is going to be crazy. And then when they get out and they have that moment of relief, you're 100% right. Start throwing things at them where, like, protect the guitar is, like, the pinnacle of things.
I didn't want to make that my main one because as much as I love the big name characters, it's not as fun and not as me as the one about two HOA doctors fucking with each other. So, but it's still pretty awesome. So I wanted to throw that one out there. So,
and if you are like Games and I, who we prefer not to use the big name characters, because I'm right there with you, I 100% make this something personal. Make this something personal where if you have a friend or an NPC contact that, you know, wants to steal from another friend or NPC contact, same thing. Just do the exact same thing. And also saying the goon with the grenade becoming menace number 1. Yes. Or, hey, look, bozos are coming at you on a Jeep. You can't ram that car because the guitar might get damaged. What are you going to do? Oh, are there things shooting acid? Better not let that get on the guitar.
Good luck with that.
Or just like a random straight paintball game.
Right when it looks, I was gonna say right when it looks like they're gonna succeed, one of those glitter bomb things goes off and covers the guitar, so they have to like try to scrub the guitar.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had for today.
You know that they're never gonna get all of the glitter out. On the plus side, Rogue probably is never going to play the guitar, so she'll never notice it, so long as you're able to clean enough of it out.
As long as it's passable, that's all you need.
Or an NCP checkpoint being established and the officers assuming something illegal is in, so they confiscate the lot for safety of the public. I didn't think about a barricade between districts, Yeah, because the guitar wouldn't be, so then what do? Do you just, like, let one of your crew, good luck, try to go around? Let the rest of your weapons get confiscated, but not this guitar?
Right.
That's good. Did you also want to talk about? There was one more you wanted to talk about.
No, I was gonna go ahead and skip that one for
Okay.
tonight. There was another one that I loved that's about dumpster diving, but I will be talking about dumpster diving in another zone. So
There you go. Also, I think I'm going to bring back your name of the game is humiliation later on. I'm going to tie that to a different plot hook because I thought they would go beautifully together.
nice.
All right, so moving on to the Glen, I'm going to talk about the hook best served cold. So Rex Royale, powerful fixer in Night City, has decided to ruin the life of an enemy by erasing their official existence. The easiest way to do that is to break into the DMV, plant a virus in the records database, and wait for the deletion of information to spread throughout the system. Not the easiest job, but less hazardous than breaking into City Hall or the Hall of Justice. Now, part of the reason I picked this plot hook is because it's very similar to the plot we concocted for our single player mode game, which you can check out on the YouTube channel at Edrunners HQ. I also picked this hook because Rex Royale is linked to the apartment mission in the Jumpstart kit. That is, the fixer there. So if your players already know him and have done a few jobs, this can be a great side quest to kind of bolster that NPC fixer crew friendship. I'm a huge fan of this mission. It's not combat heavy. It should not be combat heavy. It's stealth based, or at least it probably should be stealth based. But then again, if things go wrong, it can be some really fun, really lethal, deadly combat. So if your players have felt like they've been coasting for a while, and they're like, oh, it's fine, even if we screw up, it'll be fine. This could be fun to kind of let them, remind them, no, this is Night City.
Right.
And this is a problem. Also, and again, of course, similar, if you're a player and you want stealth missions, point to this one, ask your GM to do it. As for your life path, if you have a super powerful enemy that's like they can throw a gang at you or a crew or a bunch of things, maybe it's a fixer who completely erased your existence and you want payback.
Yeah.
If you're a net runner, this could have been a job you pulled once that you still talk about. Or it was the job that got you noticed by your current crew or fixer. Or maybe they're really angry at you because you did this to them. So I think this could be a really fun story if your GM's not into stealth missions or this goes way off from what you're doing, you can still add it to your life path as a fixer, as a net runner. Maybe this was the job that, got your entire crew together. This was the defining job that brought your crew together. Was erasing some poor sap's existence from the database.
I can see that being really fun, though.
I think it would be fun to play through.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm on Haywood Docks, yes?
Yes.
Yes. I wanted to talk about the submarine heist. And so the setup for this story is that the members of your crew somehow run across a guy who's super drunk, and he's talking about how at the bottom of the canal, buried in the mud, there's an old pre-Fourth Corporate War submarine that's supposedly still intact. And everybody's like, oh, he's just drunk. But maybe he's not drunk. Maybe there's a submarine down there. And maybe it's worth a lot of money. I like throwing these kind of hooks into the game. Like, just give them some ridiculous lore that if they latch onto it, awesome. That's a fun side mission to get everybody to go try to find a submarine and then figure out how to get it out of the middle of the canal. But if they don't, it's no harm, no foul, because it's not affecting your overall story that's going on. This is just hey, there could be a submarine. And I really enjoy that. Like, I like that idea in a story to give the world more of a third dimension, like we talk about all the time, to instead of just your big story and your micro stories that you're telling in it, also throw some just little hooks out there that if they latch onto, as long as they don't derail your main plot, amazing.
Also, more water-based adventures is always fun.
But yeah, we don't get nearly enough considering that we're on the coast. The water's gross, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, the water's gross, but but more water-based adventures.
And we just got the some more submersibles and stuff, so
Exactly.
yeah, use them.
I also do want to read LCC's comic because that was really good for the hook in whatever thing we were just in. I can't remember now. I just looked at it like twice and I'm still like, no, because I was too busy. The Glen. There is a hook called Corp on Corp Action, which involves Raven Micro Cybernetics trying to get a Rocket Augmentix prototype. And their thought was it could be the very first neuroport based on the Rocket Augmentix neuron. And because you're in 2045 and you know what's coming in 2077, you can kind of make those bridges and those leaps. So I thought that was really cool.
For sure. Well, and the Steal the Prototype is such a like classic cyberpunk story.
Mm-hmm.
Like in not the new card game, but in the old card game, I Want That Prototype was one of the mission cards you could play. And like that's just how cyberpunk that concept is. So I always love those.
All right. I think with the Haywood docks complete, we're gonna go to the Haywood Industrial Zone.
Stick with some Haywood.
Which is a slight problem, guys, because, and I'm going to get Games to stay on top of chat, so if there's anything you guys will talk about the docs, he will stop me. It's a slight problem because of the 5 plot hooks in this section, I'm going to talk about 4 of them. This is one of the ones where I was like, I love too many of these, I want to run them all.
I remember when we were discussing this, you're like, oh, I could do this one. Oh, but this one's about this, and this!
Screw it, I'm talking about all of them. It's my show. I do what I want. First, I'm not going to go into like super big detail with all of them, but I want to highlight the Diva detail as a potential hook for before, during, or after the Reaping the Reaper missions from Tales of the Red Street Stories. So if you were a GM who is running your players through those, please do not sleep on this plot hook.
I know it's separated by several books, but check it out.
If you really enjoy roller derby and want a chance to play, and maybe you're not going through Hope Reborn, check out the Skid Zone plot hook. It's a great way to get in a jam and fill a week of time. If your players are waiting, they just kind of need time to pass, and they want to do roller derby, Skid Zone.
Let's go, Bill Hooks.
Let's go, Bill Hooks. Okay, so the two that I'm going to talk about in a little more detail are players and GMs can enjoy the Missing Links plot hook, where the chains on newly sold bicycles from Yang's wheels have been breaking. Gabriel Yang is convinced it's Americar who wants to put the Neocorp out of business, and Gabriel will hire a discreet crew to dig into the matter. Now, if you're a GM, you can have a lot of fun with this, especially if Americar is a red herring. You could direct them. There's certainly rumors that Americar wants like Yang's wheels out of business, but it doesn't mean that they've put effort into harming them,
right?
Or sabotaging them. But as a note, it could also be a great way to get the crew some wheels to get around without giving them a car. Especially for those of you who may be playing like everyday style games, everyday people, or you can build a car essentially out of a few bike parts. You can build like a really tiny car for fairly cheap. So this is a great plot hook to get that to your players. If that's not something the GM is interested in, and you have a bicycle, skateboard, or rollerblades, consider this as the backstory reason you have them. Maybe you help solve the case. Maybe you had one of the sabotaged bikes and yours is a little more tricked out, or you got a free upgrade as an apology. Totally up to you. But I really liked this as a plot hook. I mean, you could go.
And it's always good to see Yangs.
I know, right? But the big plot hook here I want to talk about is dog napping. And dog napping, I'm going to read this one apparently. The toe cutters only meant to steal some cargo from the interchange, but they accidentally stole Craig, the dog of Station Master Calvert. Normally, they just waste them up, but the bastards have decided to hold the dog hostage in order to force Calvert to divert shipments to them. That was a mistake. Calvert is sitting on a considerable nest egg, and he's happy to spend it to ensure Craig is returned safely home and his dog nappers are suitably punished. Now, the toe cutters are a rather terrifying raft and shift gang who cut the toes off their victims and hit sections of the city in addition to targets in the Badlands. Calvert oversees the interchange, the local nickname for the industrial zone's rail depot. And while passengers can board and debark, its main design is moving cargo from the Port of Night City and the Haywood docks to the district's factories and vice versa. Calvert is one of the few, if not the only one, who understands the web of rail switches. He's also ancient. So you're helping a poor old man get his dog back. and you'll do that, right?
It's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. A poor old man has lost his dog. And you have to help him get it back. From this horrible group of Raph and Shiv who mutilate people. Guys.
Right.
Find it in your heart.
For only the cost of a cup of coffee a day.
You too can save Craig. I think this is also, if you read the Night City book, this is like the 14th Craig that Calvert has had. Yeah. Dogs don't live as long as humans. But also you're doing a huge favor for the Haywood Industrial Zone, since this is like the major port that and interchange that oversees all these rails. And if Calvert gets unhappy or he gets distressed, who knows how he's gonna handle like losing his dog. So it could be bad for everybody.
It could kill him.
It could be. I wasn't gonna say that, but yes, it could be bad for everybody. So, but it could be also highly rewarding, not just monetarily, but you did good deeds. You gained some humanity. I, as a GM, would give you humanity back for just doing the right thing and saving the dog.
100%. Yeah.
Also, if your player has an enemy that would tie in here, especially if they are a nomad that has maybe an enemy from a Ref and Shiv pack, throw them in the toe cutters. Make it personal as well. Make them the one in charge of the hostage situation.
Also, there's something super quaint and small town story-ish about, save the dog.
Save the dog for the old man who runs the railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love animals, so animals are going to be a big thing. I was like, oh, this is the second animal when I talk about. Don't care.
It's alright, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yep.
I like how a lot of yours are, you got, more personal stories and stuff like that. And me, on the other hand, I'm moving on to the hot zone, where I'm going to be talking about T-Spooks. So the mission is called Found Footage. And basically, T-Spooks had a colleague who was in the hot zone trying to film the urban legend called the Hot Zone Lurker. And they have not heard from their contact. So they're hiring a crew to go find the footage and find out what happened to their colleague. And this is such a Halloween concept, a horror movie concept of a run to send them in the hot zone to find this found footage. And then if they view the footage, you can, kind of spin them off into a different thing entirely. So I think that this is a good place to launch an interesting mini game, mini episode. But also, just a cool, atmospheric story that you could tell. Because you don't get a lot of horror other than, gore-style horror in Cyberpunk. It would be cool to tell more, slasher or urban legend or stuff like that stories in the setting. I personally, I really love modern fantasy stuff like World of Darkness and stuff, because I love the horror concepts and how dark they can be. And so future horror is amazing, and you don't see it represented often enough. So the fact that there's enough of that in just that hook. Like, I really attached to that. Like, the moment I read it, I was like, I could do so many fun things with this.
And I will say to you, especially in the hot zone, just to add to that atmosphere, the hot zone is silent. There is no noise in the hot zone. So
creepy.
especially if you're a GM who uses, background ambience and music or whatever, just to facilitate that, all of a sudden it going dead silent is eerie in and of itself. But think of the echoes and the sounds you could make that would echo and follow as they get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you can increase that tension by doing absolutely nothing other than making sounds.
Well, and like, if you want to make it worse, the hot zone is a really good place to send them into the sub-city. The city under the city. So, yeah.
Yeah, because one of the scary monsters is the monster you can't see. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that was the hot zone for me.
I love that one. Moving on to Kabuki, I'm going to talk about Deliver with Tiger Eats. So if you need quick cash to pay your rent, luckily Tiger Eats offers a job with immediate pay. Deliver meals, and perhaps something a bit extra, from contracted eateries to customers' designated locations. Just be careful, because the Kanzaki family loves ruining the service's reputation by messing with the drivers. Now, I enjoy this because it feels like something you can do during downtime that can still turn into a story. I would say if you live in the area, you know Tiger Eats. You've probably gotten food from them or something else delivered by them. Alternatively, you may be able to see an ad for them via the Hustool app. Why not? It's your game, your rules. You can do it if you want. And messing with the drivers can be anything from like an ambush at their delivery to a car chase to a theft. Tiger Eats is known to deliver drugs. If the customer doesn't get their delivery, well, there's plenty of ways that could go. It can also be a side story for a member who hasn't gotten a lot of time to kind of shine recently. This could be them. A friendly competition between the crew members that turns into something serious. If they're like, hey, we've got some downtime, let's see who can earn the most cash. Delivering for Tiger Eats, just as a, friendly competition between the crew members. And then all of a sudden it turns into something much more serious. Could be really fun, especially if your campaign is used to doing like lighthearted stuff. This could bring the tone down really quickly, and give you that more serious game that you're looking for in a short amount of time. I was gonna say, or something less serious. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a group of cyclists show up en masse to defend one another. But there's something real, like, someone's like nixed your package, and all of a sudden a swarm of cyclists from all the alleys just comes together to chase them down with like guns and everything. It's like, oh shit. Yeah. So you could do it. It could be completely silly. It could be really fun. You could use this as part of your backstory. It's entirely up to you.
Well, and this as a backstory thing, like maybe your character started out working for Tiger Eats and ended up in the middle of a bad situation, and that's how they ended up running the shadows, being an edge runner.
I also like this as one of the things I would like to start doing is during downtime, where people are like, oh, I just spend a week hustling and doing whatever to make some cash, or I do it for a day because my team members are healing and they all got hurt, but I have a high body or I didn't get hit, so I've got a day before they're on their feet. I'm just gonna do some stuff. You can roll on
quick job.
Yeah, you can roll in charts in like single player mode of just like, how did it go? Was it good? Was it easy? Did a complication occur? And you can tell a very quick story without having to play through it that still makes it memorable for that player.
Right. Instead of just, okay, you did a job and it's over.
Exactly.
Build that.
Yeah.
Take a few minutes to build that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now you wanted to talk about a mission, a plot hook in Kabuki.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh my god.
Well, you were hoping I would, but I opted to let you talk about it instead.
Rifokuma,
Yes.
the fastest stuffed bear alive one.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love it. So anime collectibles straight from Japan are always hot sellers, but this time the competition is hotter than usual. Due to multiple celebrities wearing Rifokuma keychains and accessories, demand for the stuffed bear has risen to a fever pitch. Everybody wants to get one of the 20 bears that have arrived at, I'm not going to try to say it, Marukumi's imports for fixers like Mr. K, to execs like you are. Basically, it's the Action Man from Jingle All the Way, where everybody wants one of these stupid bears, and you can just have this like complete melee, like Black Friday event melee for everybody trying to get their hands on this bear, because all of the rich and powerful, all of the famous want this stupid thing. It's the Labubu's, and you as, you know, a lowly person have to try to get one because that may be your shot to like get your foot in the door with some executive. And I just thought it was a really cool, like, fun, lighthearted nonsense. But yeah,
so many things just collided in my brain at once. One, if you were trying to get into a midnight market with a high powerful fixer like, say, Mr. K, this could be your ticket to get in.
Look, I got it.
I got you bear. Do you want it? Selling it. Very similar to the guitar for Rogue, where once you have the bear, you have to protect the bear. It cannot get damaged. People are going to pay you for a head or a stuffed arm or something, so you must protect this bear at all costs. And 3, because like it's like for high powerful execs or something, if you are trying to get into a secured area, if for some reason, you know, your GM throws at you, and we might do this to Blank, which is horrible. Good luck, Blank. Where he's like, you guys need to get into the executive zone because that's where your big bad evil guy lives. Good luck finding a way. And we're like, okay, what if we steal one of these bears and use that as an in to sell it to someone in the same building? Use this as a plot hook as a player. You can point to it and be like, hey, these limited edition somethings can get us into this highly secure area that we're not supposed to be in because they are that special.
Yeah.
We're not special, but the bear is special.
There are 20 of these that made it to town, and everybody wants one.
Yep.
LCC says, run down the aisle throwing suppressive fire from dual-wielding heavy SMGs with drum mags in both directions to keep people away from one of the crew members as they grab it and run towards the checkout.
Yes. Yes. So you have your, like, fight in wherever it is to get the bear, and you have to protect the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's your golden ticket once you have it. Unless, of course, the next big hot thing comes out before you're able to use your golden ticket.
If you went through all that, absolutely not. That would be your golden ticket. I would give you that as your golden ticket. Just where are you going to use it is the big thing. But yeah,
right.
Definitely just throw this at your GM and be like, are they interested in this bear? If I was your GM, I'd be like, yes, they are. I don't care if they weren't. They are. Maybe their kid is, or somebody else is big into the bear. They need the bear.
Yeah. When I move over to Little Chinatown hooks, which I am doing now, I realized a lot of my stories are about petty bullshit, and I love it for that reason. So I'm going to talk about It Belongs in a Library, which is the story of Thomas Blake, the CEO of Hydro Subsidium, which is the people whose submarine also may be at the bottom of the canal, recently purchased a super expensive rare copy of a book just because they knew that David Lee Poe wanted it, and they didn't want them to get it. So they're looking to offload it and sell it to another CEO as soon as possible so that they don't have to deal with it. But they're hiring protection for the book and hopefully a fixer to find a home for the book, whereas Mr. Poe is hiring runners to try to steal the book. So this is a great setup for like finding a rival crew. Have your team take a job and then have their rivals show up on the other side of the mission.
Yes.
So I like anytime you can have your characters have equal rivals that are like on the same level as them that show up randomly throughout the story that aren't necessarily the big bad, but they're like that annoyance. They're the Draco Malfoys. And I think I like it. I like petty bullshit. What can I say?
Not even petty bullshit, because we talked about this with Linda. If you haven't seen that interview, you could do so on the YouTube channel. Where it could be a friendly rival crew.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like, hey, we don't want to kill these people because they're pretty chill when we're not working the same jobs.
Yeah, we drink at the same bar.
Yeah, we drink at the same bar. We hang out all the time. We swap stories. You should have seen what this guy went through to get a bear. Oh my god. So yeah, because at that point too, because the players aren't there to just kill them. They're not going to resort to must murder everybody. It's like, no, these are like friendly rival groups.
Oh my god, you could Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner the whole thing. Because the one team's like trying to protect the book and the other one's trying to come up with ridiculous ways to steal the book. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yes. Their crew is called something that spells out Acme.
Yes.
Oh, I saw, what was it, a meme somewhere where they wanted to do like an Etrigan crew based off all the King of the Hill characters. And it was called Team Pro Pain, but it like PRO, like Pro Pain.
Yeah.
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 I was like, that's clever. That's clever.
Like it.
All
like
right.
what you did there.
Right. Okay. Let's move on. So we're gonna move into Little Europe. I'm gonna talk about 2 hooks in this section. The first is called Drive Off the Clowns, where a circus of bozos has been targeting red cab cars and drivers for torturous and damaging pranks. Regular drivers are calling in sick. So the company is willing to pay a crew of edge runners to not only pick up shifts in the cabs, but to protect them against clown attacks. Bozos always kind of bring a deathly, whimsical element to their encounters, which I really appreciate. So if you... and you know it's going to be bad, but you know it's going to be fun bad.
Right.
Now, if you have a nomad, or if you are a nomad, or if you just have a crew that has a solid amount of like people who can drive vehicles, they have solid drive skills, this can make for a really fun encounter. Pairing off crew members with one driver and one defender, or they can each take a vehicle if they're feeling brave and sure of their skills. You could add car chases, pranks, as much damaging whimsy as possible. So if you haven't had a chance to use like the chase rules, this would be a really good time to use them. I think pairing them off would probably be best, but that does require having more than one person who can drive a car. Now, it's not something that the GM is interested in running. You can include it in your background as a nomad doing work in the city. Or maybe you were a passenger in a red cab as just a general life event. Like, guys, let me tell you this time that this happened. Holy shit. Maybe you're a rocker boy and you did a piece, whether it's you wrote a song, or you wrote a comic, or you created a sculpture, or whatever it is that your rocker boy does. About this life event, that was one of your things that pushed you to fame. Maybe that's where your phobia of clowns came from, or your phobia of red cabs. Maybe you will never get into a red cab again because it was that horrifying.
You don't trust them.
Yeah. And I think a really great reward for this, in addition to being paid for their services, is maybe free cab service for a month, if you manage to prevent all damage to the vehicle, or half damage. Maybe you completed all your fares. Maybe there's a bonus for every 5-star service rating from your clients, which would make social skills an important job, like part of that job too. Because social and combat counters do not need to be separate. Trying to keep your fare calm while fighting off clowns is a whole extra layer of challenge. So not only do you need to, drive away from these pranks and your
So
other
what
person's
brings you to
doing
Night
that.
City?
Yeah, you're like drifting, firing, trying to keep your fare pleased for that 5-star review. I think that
there's
would be
bottles of
hilarious.
water back there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let me crank up this music real loud. Let's do this. I think that could be really, really fun. And I think adding that extra layer for whimsy, let's make it all whimsical. So I really like that one. And then the next one is wolf napping. So Biotechnica is field testing new genetic modifications in its latest crop of cyberwolves, using them as guard animals in Reference Forest RF-14. Body Weight Light Preservation Systems hires the crew to kidnap, without harming it, one of the cyberwolves for delivery outside of Night City. Now, for me, when I took a look at this wolf napping plot hook in this area in Reference Forest, whatever, this is going to be a mercenary level mission. Not only are you stealing from Biotechnica, you need to get through a security code 10 location, which means if you make noise, enemy, like, there's a response.
Don't get caught.
You cannot get caught, or you're going to get a response. The response is hardened heavy security, which means the GM can throw whatever the fuck they want at you, and it's going to be hardened. There is no limits. It's Biotechnica's forest. It is a forest that is highly protected. You are going to get your ass handed to you if you get caught. And Biotechnica ramped security, and because the park used to be, the Reference Forest used to be a park, used to be open to the public, but ever since the Euro Trashers and the Undertow had to scrap, and they dealt fire damage to a bunch of the trees, they've, like, locked it down. So getting in and getting out isn't going to be easy. If you get in, you cannot make a sound. And of course, you can't harm a cyberwolf while you steal it. Cyberwolves are very scary. You should check out your new best friend for the details on cyberwolves. Cyberwolves also hunt in packs, and they are even more deadly in packs. And I don't know about your crew, but I'm pretty sure only one member in our entire crew that Games and I play in has any points in animal handling.
I might.
Do you? 2 members of our
I don't
crew
know,
might have
lucky
points. He's gonna look. But I know animal handling is not a skill people put points into because you never really need to use animal handling. So this could be a great time to make use of a skill that not a lot of people have if they want to try. Now, if the cyberwolf isn't traveling in a pack, which, trying to get it to separate from the pack could be a challenge. If they are wandering on their own or patrolling on their own, if you want to be nice and give them, you do not have points in it, do you? I didn't think so.
No.
You may be okay. You may, have better chance if they are alone. But what happens if they howl and call their friends, or they use their Neuralink to call their pack friends? At which point you've alerted the other cyberwolves, but you've also alerted Biotechnica, which means that 10 went off, and you're dealing with hard and heavy reinforcements. So, if you have players who want a mercenary level mission without leaving the city, this is your mission. And then, of course, you have to transport the fucking wolf out of this, or to wherever the drop is for body life, possibly out of the city, which means you also now need to keep that wolf contained and docile and not freaking out, possibly removing a tracker, probably removing a tracker before you even go anywhere. So, yes, you can have mercenary level missions in the city. This would be one of them, and I absolutely love it for the challenge that it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is nice to see, because anytime you're going up against a bigger corporation like Biotechnica, those are mercenary level missions. There's no ifs, ands about it. And to be doing something like trying to steal something as dangerous as a cyberwolf from a secure location, clearly this is meant to be mercenary level. So it's good to see those in here, if for no other reason than, so that we get to use more of our stuff that we've recently got.
Yeah. More stealthier. And the thing too is, you don't have to go in stealthily. I would highly recommend it.
Oh, for sure.
But you don't have to go stealthily.
Right. A better plan.
Well, I was gonna say the other plan too is one part could go stealth, like could go loud, while another crew, like we're gonna cause the distraction, drag everybody here, to let somebody else go through. And that's totally viable.
We know how sensitive Biotechnica is to fire. Just start a fire in a different part of the forest, and you're set.
Well, that would be so bad. That'd be so bad. Yeah, we're good.
I also wanted to say, and stop me if this is about something that you're going to talk about later, because I don't remember where it was or what the name of the mission was. But as to the driving off the clowns, there being, one of the prank gangs in here, there is one for the vampires, the Philharmonics, also, that they want to hire people to help them with a prank.
Yes.
That I absolutely loved. I can't remember the details of that one, but I remember reading that one and being like, it's cool that they're not the bad guy per se in this one. They're just we want to do this living art thing, and we need to hire a running crew to help us pull off this prank.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
100%. I don't think
we're
talking about that. It could be
and that's a really good point. Because they made dinosaurs canon now, you could substitute it being about raptors instead of cyber wolves, and you have to try to capture a single compy or something.
Dinosaurs are not canon. I'd like to clarify this. But if you want to throw dinosaurs in your game and try to capture a Biotechnica dinosaur, please, by all means, do it.
I do have to say that nothing that comes out of my mouth represents, whereas the beliefs of Edgerunners HQ, they are solely my opinions.
Yes, if Games ever talks about things being canon, please refer to Jess for confirmation.
Know that they are not. I will only mention the word canon if I am lying.
It's very true, actually. All right, let's head on to New Westbrook.
New Westbrook. It's better than Old Westbrook. So the story I went with here, I have a thing for rocker boys. I don't know what the deal is. I'm doing Tomb Raiders. So basically, the story of this one is that a famous rocker boy died and was buried with a memory chip that has all of their unreleased music, their lyrics, their compositions, basically their entire life's work, all of the B-side stuff that every fan desperately wants. And their estranged adult child, their former lover, their business manager, the fans, everybody wants to get their hands on it. So a lot of people are willing to hire a crew to go into Cereal Grove and dig up the dead rocker boy to get the chip. And we've learned a lot about Cereal Grove between the book that came out, Night City 2045, and also Night City Stories. And we know that it's going in guns a-blazing is a bad plan. But you can do jobs there. It is a thing that is possible. So if they're there anyway, you might as well give it to them.
I like that there's potentially an ethical dilemma there too. It's yes, all these people want it. Doesn't mean that you have to give it to them. If they died without releasing it, maybe there was a reason. Maybe they don't want it released. So do you go in and sabotage it or hoard it for yourself? Prevent crews from going in and getting it.
Blank and I have been bouncing music back and forth. There was Rico's solo stuff and Z's solo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been so successful without Wraith. But Wraith is now so successful without them, so...
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. Okay, we're an hour in. I'm going to try to get through this a lot. The problem is we're doing NorCal Military Base next, and I love all of them. So helping out Henshaw is Henshaw buys drugs from the piranhas, smuggles them onto the base. However, his superior officer has found this out, and he wants Henshaw to provide him with a crate of Emerald City, or they will turn Henshaw into the military police. Problem is, the Yellow Brick Road gang hates Henshaw with a passion, so he wants the crew to help them out. I love the Yellow Brick Road gang. They are essentially based off of The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy is the lead and the chemist. Any of the gangs that you encounter are dressed like either Scarecrow or Tin Man. They're really fun gangs, so if you want a little bit of whimsy with a very serious outcome for a certain someone, that'd be the way to go. I believe there's also the mission that introduced the Yellow Brick Road gang is in the data pack. So if you have, I think, don't quote me on that.
I want to say yes.
Right? If you've run that one first, they might already have an into the Yellow Brick Road, or maybe give them that mission before doing this plot hook.
They may have bad blood. You never know.
Or they may have bad blood, yeah. Actually, I think of that when you were supposed to go up against the Yellow Brick Road, so maybe, that could be fun too, because if you also have bad blood... You don't know how
they resolved it.
Bad blood?
Right.
It's like, well, we'd love to help you out, but it just means that you might not be getting it legally, or, paying for it. It's just probably going to be bad all around. For Sneaky Salvage, a fixer with connections on base thinks they know where the NCS Alaska, a Riptide-class littoral combat ship, went down at sea. The crew can escort the fixer to the sunken ship first. They can salvage a fortune's worth of Militech technology. Of course, the Estero Bay Cog is also looking for the Alaska and won't be happy to find someone plundering it. You could also add more people who have located this ship and make it like a rat race. Who is going to get there first? And I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was really cool, because I believe when we were going through 1920-45 and talking with Jay, I was like, I'd like the Alaska as a plot hook, like going out and trying to find it, and then it showed up here, and I was like, it's cool that somebody already wrote that he had already had that written.
Yeah.
Surplus Sale talks about how you can get in, to sneak in, to steal prototypes, files, even personnel, if you want, from the base during Militech Surplus Sale. That's there. A 2-crew job, those friendly rival gang that we keep talking about, that you sometimes end up on opposite sides. This could be one where you guys work together. You have to create the distraction while they steal a ATF 37V Thunderhawk from the base. So
I'd rather be on the distraction crew for that job.
So that you would be. So there you go.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to bring in another crew that friendly rivals, or just a good starting solid friendship rival that then you come on odds later on down the road with the book mission. Maybe neither of them gets the book. Maybe you guys decide your friendship is more powerful and the book got destroyed and nobody gets the book and nobody gets paid.
Power of friendship.
And then for the very model, Rockland Magnetics has an experimental cyber brain in development, and General Ash Giovanni is in decline, and he wants you to steal that prototype. And since they can't go back to him, he's hiring the crew. So again, another stealth break into a high-level base. But you do get a general,
right,
as a favor, which is not a bad thing to have.
Never a bad idea.
So, I really liked a lot of these. I probably should have gone a little more in depth, but if I do, we'll never get through this. So, if you're looking for jobs on the NorCal military base, or if you're running a campaign on NorCal military base, take a look at these. If you're doing a backstory, maybe you were an army brat, and maybe these are some of the things that happened that you weren't directly involved in, but occurred, and you could talk about, like, maybe you heard someone stole a Thunderhawk, that there were 2 edge running crews that stole a Thunderhawk off base, and you thought that was pretty cool and pretty badass, and clearly they were better than the military, in your perception of it, and that's why you went into edge running.
Yeah, I could see it.
So lots of great stuff in that section. I just want to live and play and exist in NorCal military base for a while.
Right. I'm also going to talk about war.
Ooh. What is it good for? So
I'm talking about North Haywood. And particularly I'm talking about the mini corporate war. So there's rumors that Dynalar's health is in question. So a number of corporations like Rockland, Gunmart, Raven Micro Cybernetics, and Kiroshi are all circling like sharks in the water. Execs are looking for leads they want to like buy out as much of the stock as they can and force the price of Dynalar's stock to go down so that they can do a forced takeover of the company. I love this because I love the smaller the not so mega corps are having battles with each other. I don't know how you would get your players, like I can think of several ways that you could get your players involved in it, but I like this more as a story piece. Something that they hear that's going on, or some chaos that's going on in the world around them, not necessarily for them to interact with, but for it to be a setting piece. So
yeah, as kind of one of those quiet rumors that a media could pick up on, or just you're in a bar and there's news about this Dynalar thing,
right.
And throughout the sessions it continues to this has increased,
escalate,
this has
shift.
Yeah. I think that's a cool like background noise bringing the world to life.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which that's kind of why I wanted to talk about that one specifically, is because it is something that's not like world changing. It isn't like, oh my god, did you hear that Max Tech just went out of business? Like that would be a big deal. But like it's something that is big enough that it is news, but not so big that it has to directly affect the characters. But it is something interesting that can be happening for the characters to exist around. So,
unless you're an exec working for one of those companies, in which case it may affect you directly.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the old combat zone. I think this is where, yes, this is the one that I wanted to link to your HOA thing. So, district beautification. The government of the old combat zone can't afford to invest in covering the terrace in Biotechnica real grass, but the corpse owners in Charter Hill have more than they need. So local teacher Miss Lee is willing to trade both money and martial arts training to anyone who can arrange for a delivery of sod to the park. Now, Games talked about Charter Hill and the HOA disagreements between the two doctors, and the hook does say delivery of sod, but nobody says that's what it has to be. I think it would be really fun to, like, yes, you could break in, you could change the delivery schedule, etc., stealth mission. But we did talk to Jay about things, and it'd be really unfortunate if Dr. Davies or whoever you decide to align yourself with in the HOA suddenly found their entire lawn of real grass ripped up. Because how could the leader of the HOA or whatever conflict they're getting into, handle anything if they can't even keep their lawn? And so I think stealing their lawn or cutting out swatches of their lawn or having it say certain words, or anyone who supports them, like their lawn has been cut up and patched and all that stuff just ends up in the old combat zone. I think that is a far more entertaining idea. So blending these two plot hooks together would be my ideal. I would marry them.
Well, and if you did that, then 2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly. Exactly. But I like that. I read that and I remember talking about the HOA and I was like, these two marry so well together. So yeah, why don't we head on out to the... Where are we? Oh no, it's me next.
Old Japantown.
It's Old Japantown. That is right. Rigging the game. So that plot hook is, here we go. It's tournament season again for the Elflines online trading card game, and everyone is eager to win. The crew's been enlisted to help out a participant by keeping their rivals from showing up at Neo Galaxy Cards and Comics on tournament day. Or, if they want to take the crown themselves, the crew can make sure the heavy hitters are also heavy sleepers and nab that limited edition ELO merch prize. Now, if you're a fan of ELO, the TCG, this hook is an absolute
Which who isn't?
must. Hashtag ELO sweep, absolutely. Thank you, LCC. And now whether it's a mission, it could be a backstory for why you have that limited edition item that's your like specific unique item from your life path. It could be like, if you're like, where did you get this thing from? It's like, I have this, and this is why it's super important. And if you're thinking of running this hook as a mission, but maybe only half the crew is interested in the game, let them play out the matches while the rest of the crew handles the competition. Because it's very important also to remember tournaments, the turns go much faster. I'm pretty sure you only have like 30 seconds to complete your turn.
Yeah.
So you can have your crew going off against, like, actually playing through the matches or maybe rolling some sort of like gambling test or whatever to see who gets through. Eventually they'll have to fight each other, so just let them play. And if you're a GM who also needs a break because you're like, man, I didn't prep for this session and I need some time, throw a tournament. Just let them play cards together. Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I could see this as being a backstory for my previous character in our ELO game. He was supposed to be at this tournament, and so, like, due to unfortunate circumstances, he didn't get to go, but he would have won.
Someone took him out. He was one of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, he was a victim.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, if you want some more ELO TCG in your life, and who does not, this plot hook. This one.
Yeah. Do it. That brings us to the outskirts, I believe. Yeah. So I chose Grandmother's Ring. Basically, the story is that this big exec took a ancestral ring and wanted to ask his mainline to marry him finally. And the ring ended up in the trash and then ended up in the municipal landfill. And so now they've hired a team of runners to break into the landfill and try to find one wedding ring in the entire mountain of trash that is in the outskirts. And I love this. I've real life ended up in this situation more than once, that we had to break into the landfill to try to find a box one time. We did not find it. We failed that mission. Also, on my wedding day, my father-in-law washed my wife's car and threw away things that he thought were trash that were not. They were very sentimentally important to her. So me and all of my groomsmen ended up going to the car wash place and dumpster diving in our suits to find the stuff that got thrown away. So...
What do you mean in your suits?
True story. Yeah, true story. So this, this has a special place in my heart, having to literally look for a diamond in the rough.
Your life, my guy. Just to kind of talk. Sorry. Yes. I'm gonna finish your dumpster dive story. I'm sorry.
That's all I had. No, we're good.
That's good. So 8-Bit Oscar mentioned the Netrunner Recluse is in the core rulebook. They are in Old Japantown. They are mentioned in 1945. A legendary Netrunner who doesn't wake up in the morning for less than 10,000 ebb a gig.
Nice.
I was like, I feel like I know who that is, and I read something about them. So yes, craziness.
That's where I want to get in my life. Like, am I getting paid $10,000? No. All right, then I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. Also, I like 8-Bit Oscars. It's diamond in the stuff. not rough stuff.
Right.
And LCC saying it's a great place for the GM to drop broken to the PCs can nab and repair over time. 100%.
Yeah, it's a good reason for them to get that combat umbrella they've wanted for a long time, but just needs some love.
We're never getting a combat umbrella.
I'm not paying full price for a combat umbrella.
If the gun was better, but no. No, but that's really fun. Exactly. 10K or go back to my ELO binge session. Exactly.
For me, it would be like, all right, I gotta get this Minecraft build done. Oh, you're gonna pay me 10K? All right, I'll do that.
I guess I'll go. Yeah. Oh. All right. Moving out of landfills, I'm gonna head over into Pacifica Playground. Oh yes. Different landfill. And there are two hooks in the section I really enjoy. The first is Haunted House, and for me, this is like an in-world Scooby-Doo villain mystery. So for Haunted House, a client is putting their crew up in Playhouse for a few days before shipping them out of town on a job. A series of accidents, misplaced items, and odd sounds and sights make it clear someone is haunting the building. Haunting in quotes. Crew can work with the media to expose the culprit, a landlord hoping to force tenants out early and collect the high rental contract termination fee, or choose a more direct means of solving the problem. And I think you can have a lot of fun trying to find ways to scare your players while they stay in Playhouse. Now, the hook says that it's just a layover stop for a few days out of town. I think this would be a great hook to get with the Rocker Boy T-Spooks, who we've talked about before too. They do have a real interest in the paranormal. They do believe the paranormal is real. They don't want to build their career on a lie. So if you've played through Werewolf and Watson, or you've done the Hot Zone mission with T-Spooks that Games mentioned earlier, they may already be in contact with the crew, and they may ask them to check out Playhouse to see if it's really haunted, even going so far as to pay for a stay there for a month. And then either way, your crew essentially gets to be the Scooby Gang and unmask the landlord. Or maybe they don't and they actually believe, maybe they fail every single roll and firmly believe that Playhouse is haunted. Which I think is much more
I was thinking
entertaining.
also taking it the more serious direction than Scooby-Doo, even though I love Scooby-Doo. But have you seen the movie House on Haunted Hill? Either the original or the remake?
You know how I feel about horror movies. You know I don't handle horror at all.
It's a valid point. Basically, these people are invited to stay on in this house.
Yes.
That's haunted. And
yes.
If they can stay there for 24 hours, they'll get blah, 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 blah. You could do that also with this hook. You could, build up that, there's this haunted part of the park, blah, 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 and have all of the characters go there, and they have to spend one full night to get whatever prize, but then it is a deadly game. So.
Could do. That could be fun. So adding more, and I'll absolutely adding more horror into Cyberpunk. Right.
Yeah.
Next, I wanted to talk about getting still in Pacific Playground is a Ticket to Paradise. I love this one so much. So every Tuesday, a drone flies down from the sky and stops in front of a random pedestrian in the Pacifica Playground to play What Would You Do? A reality show that pushes contestants, quotes, to perform dangerous and humiliating tasks for a chance at Playland by the Sea tickets. Each dare, where is it? Each dare is... Oh my gosh. Each dare completed reduces the ticket price by 10%. Complete 10 dares and you get in for free. The dares begin with simple tasks like hop on one foot while reciting the alphabet and grow more degrading and deadly from there. Guess what? Today on What Would You Do? The drone has found you. Now, I had the idea of creating a series of dares for a garden patch inspired by the movie Nerve. If you guys haven't seen Nerve, it's really, really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. And this hook felt very similar in the style to what I was going to do, except instead of it being just a garden patch thing, this is specifically for tickets for Playland by the Sea, which is kind of nice. Now, if your players are planning on heading to play Land by the Sea, this could be a very fun challenge to set up. And if you're feeling especially dastardly, which I can be as a GM, a lot of people don't know this, but I could be rather evil and maniacal as a GM, a few sessions prior to them going to play Land by the Sea, like if you know that this is like a thing that they're going to do eventually down the road, just quietly, individually ask each member to give you a list of 10 dares, ranging from a kid could do to something dangerous and degrading. And then when the session comes up, just roll a dice, like for many players, and then roll again to see whose dare sheet they choose from, and see how long it takes them to go, wait a minute, that was my idea. Was it? Look at that. What do you know?
Darndest thing.
Because they'll have fun thinking up like dares that like even maybe that, you know, it would affect their other crew members, so they're not going to be nice about it. And then the best thing is it turns on them and it's like, yeah, oh, did that come from you? Yes. I really enjoyed that one, and I think it'd be fun to get your whole party, your whole table involved without knowing that the entire table is involved.
Right. All right, so I'm going inside the park now.
Yeah.
And inside the park, we find ourselves at the Segatory Station claw machine. This is not a plot hook. This is a claw machine. Literally, your characters can play with the claw machine. It costs 5 EB each time they do it. They roll a D10. They have a chance to get, as long as they get below their luck, they get a prize. But if they roll a 1 and then re-roll it, they either get a rare prize with 10 EB, or if they can roll it twice, they get the ultra rare prize, which is worth 20 EB. And the prizes, that's like the original cost of the prize, but these can be ultra rare things also. Going back to the Ruffle Bear thing, you could have your characters win one of the stupid anime bears from earlier out of this claw machine. This claw machine can just be a ridiculous place for you to dump something that you want your characters to get, and if they're lucky enough to get it, awesome. Or the silly goose things.
Goostopia! Yeah. We also need a Goostopia sweep.
As to the premise of what we were going to talk about, and I haven't really done very much, I don't see how this is much of a backstory thing.
It could
this
be.
isn't
It
really
could
much
be
of a hook thing.
how you got that again, much like God, I can't remember whatever else I talked about. Because you have a unique item that's special and dear to you, right? This you could have gotten it from here. Even if you didn't get it, if somebody played the claw machine for like days on end to get it for you, I'd say that's really sweet, and that's why that's so important. Or they took a picture of it because they blew their
to get a prize for
entire
your lover who died or something.
Oh God, yeah. It belonged to your tragic love affair, and they spent like so much money getting it. That's good. That's heartbreaking. That's good shit. Yes.
But yeah, this is a claw machine.
I was like, you can't really use this for backstory. Let me pull at your heartstrings in 30 seconds or less.
That's how my mind works as a player. But yeah, I talked about a claw machine.
I feel like if I go through the list of our crew members, Wraith would spend his entire bank balance plus his rocker boy advance trying to get something he would deem valuable, which could be a variety of things, out of that claw machine.
Well, and his luck is so good, he would like get something good every time we played it, but it wouldn't be the thing that he was wanting.
And then he'd start hawking it to like passerbys to get more money to play the claw machine even longer. Yeah. Wraith would spend weeks. And like they'd go to refill the prize. And I think Wraith has enough like enough character that it would become a matter of principle. So even when they refill the claw machine, he'd be like, no, I don't want to just
this
get it.
This wouldn't be a Gothicorn thing. This would be a, I have to win it.
I have to win it. I spent so much money already, I just have to win it. I can't steal it. Although, to be fair, I don't think Wraith instigated the Gothicorn grab and smash. Like, grab and run. I believe that was someone else.
Yeah. It was a different unnamed character.
Yes. But a Gothicorn could be in there. I don't know that Deeps would spend all of his money on it. Rex would walk right by. He'd see that as tourist.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't even.
I think Cammy, depending on what it was, would do the exact same thing as Wraith.
Right, and I think if Cammy and Wraith were there with Deeps, all three of them would spend all of their money.
Oh yeah, Deeps would do it to be part of the group. I don't know that he would do it on his own, but if you guys were going for it, he would 100% be in on it. I think Checkers would find a way to just jerry-rig it so she got what she wanted out the back. She wouldn't actually pay money for it.
Yeah.
Moxie, it would be a closet thing. If there was something she really wanted, I don't think she'd do it with any of the other crew around, but she would totally go into Playland on her own and spend like at least a few hours trying to get it before bribing some guard and being like, just give me the fucking thing. She'd try first and then be like, no.
Here's 50 EB, just hand it to me.
Just hand it to me while you're refilling it, yep. Okay, that would be a downtime week activity, is all the crew plays the claw machine.
Yes.
Oh. Moving on to Port of Night City. I'm going to talk about the plot hook. Amazing transport. Sometimes William, Mr. Maze, finds something so hot even he can't sell it directly to the public. This time, it's literally nuclear material, retrieved along with random cargo from a vessel lost at sea. Maze will keep the glowing ore at Dock 13, but he still intends to make a profit by selling it to another fixer. All he needs is a crew of suckers, edge runners, willing to transport it across the city for him. My notes here is just who doesn't want to meet Willie Maze and gain contacts for his amazing deal, including amazing ammo.
And this is what I was referring to before when it's like, how do you get your characters into something? Like, this is a great way to introduce them to this character.
Yeah. This could also be a great, like, plot hook where you don't tell them what they're transporting. And as LCC mentioned before, again, set up, like, a security checkpoint. What does security do when they find out you have nuclear material? Even better is if it's a gang checkpoint that finds out what it is, tips the crew off, and then the crew knows what's in the thing. So all of a sudden, if there's a car chase or like someone's chasing them, it's like, well, what do we do? Well, we can't get fucking hit, so I don't know. What do you want to do? And that's when you start throwing obstacles at them. Like, make it seem super easy and great. And then not so much.
Right, after they find out.
After they find out. Apparently I also wanted to talk about Salvage Claim.
Okay.
Where Drummer and Fife, information specialists who love tracking down lost cargo, have discovered coordinates for a lost Fourth Corporate War cargo shop. The problem is they aren't the only ones. Retrieving the data and valuables from the sunken vessel means racing against other crews, including a Submariner Nomad Pack and Hydrosubsidium salvage team. I think this is just a really nice plot hook to bring back Drummer and Fife from Tales of the Red Street Stories. So if you have played that one, this is just kind of nice to
throw them around the wheel.
Yeah, return those NPCs. Personally, I would do that mission first, or at least read that mission and incorporate some of those details into this hook if this is the first one you're doing, because there's a lot of information about Drummer and Fife in Street Stories. So definitely check that out first.
Yeah.
And then I like that this is underwater, which is always a nice change of pace because it gives the crew, again, more water missions. We need more water missions. We highlighted,
like, all of the water missions.
Yes! It's also races against a corporate salvage team, one or more crews. Fighting to the death is a good way to make enemies, so maybe you don't want to do that. On the other hand, maybe you can make friends with one of the other crews. you know, like, hey, there's a lot of loot down here. How about we team up, take
Plenty
out
to go
these
around.
two, and, you know, split the profits 50-50.
It's a great plan.
So, so yeah, I think I just want to draw attention to the Mr. Maze one because it's Willie Maze.
Right.
He's so crazy, but I really do like this one as a plot. And if you're a sea nomad, you know, if maybe your GM is just maybe you're based somewhere where you're not based in Night City, maybe there's no water and, you know, you're not doing any underwater missions, but maybe you're a sea nomad or you grew up on one of the floating cities. Maybe this is a story from your past that you can bring in and talk to the crew about.
For sure. Moving on to Rancho Coronado hooks. I picked the old net, and there's a big reason for this. I love all of the old net stuff. I love, like, what was before, you know, and, like, very recent archaeology kind of stuff. And so basically, the way this works out is that Nostradamus says that there might be a functional connection to the old network, the old net buried beneath the wreckage of the digital divinity ruins. And the data collector is willing to pay a crew to go down there to the underbelly of Rancho Coronado and find out. That is so amazing, and just accessing the old net is a super bad crime. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
And so a whole mission about, like, hey, let's go see if this works. Like, oh, you're playing with fire, and I love it.
Yeah.
Also really interesting, though, for backstory stuff, if you talk about how your character found old connections to the old net, and that's kind of like where you come from, as, you know, that's where you started your whole tech future, was you were, you know, some street kid that figured out how to get onto the old net. It's cool.
Or that might be a downtime activity if you are hustling. I think netrunners have a thing about some such, so you could roll this into that and make a story about it.
Data. Yeah.
Moving on to the reclamation zone, I'm going to talk about boosters MIA. The Booster Bistro is one of the best places in Night City to earn a second chance at a clean life, but Axel's noticed more and more of his hires showing up late and coming up missing. It's getting hard to run the joint, and so the crew is pulled in to help both run the bistro and figure out who's poaching his workers. It's a mix of cracking eggs and clues to keep the clients fed and figure out who's recruiting all these ex-gangers and why. Now, the Reclamation Zone is a strong community, and if your story is missing some heart, this is a really wonderful mission to remember that there's still good in the world and people looking out for one another. The hook is one part mystery, one part cooking simulator, and who knows what the ending could bring. That's entirely up to you and or the GM. If you're not planning on running it, maybe you came from the Reclamation Zone, just a reminder that the Bistro may have been where you finally were able to get out of your past life and get started on the path that you walk today. If you have an enemy in your past life that can throw a gang at you but you weren't sure where they came from, maybe this was the gang that you wanted to get away from. Maybe you joined when you were a dumb kid and then you grew up, but getting out wasn't easy, so the Bistro really helped you. So I think it's a really great location that can provide a lot of different things. And I like that while you're trying to solve this mystery, the crew also has to figure out how to help run a restaurant and do shifts. And 100%, I would not gloss over that. It's like, okay, we need a cook and a couple of like servers, so who's going to do what?
Right, and you and I have played up enough times that we know.
Honestly, as a GM, I'd be like, you guys are gonna play it up. Just if everybody had it, or you could just play, because there's a free demo. It'd be like, this is what you're doing for a session, and depending on how well you do, is how well the bistro did that day. good luck. Or any sort of board game or something that you guys could play to do, I think would be really fun as like a just kind of a break and be like, let's play video game for a session, see how you did.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It is very heartwarming.
It is. It's a really cool spot.
I am talking Santo Domingo hooks. And there's some cool ones here, but particularly I wanted to talk about Wood Chipper's Block Party. Wood Chipper is throwing a night market / block party every month, as you may know. And normally they would have the Aldecados there as peacekeepers. But unfortunately, some things have happened, and now they need to hire you just in case the Kill Crashers, Toe Cutters, or any other gang decide to invade during this whole event. I like this idea kind of as a smokescreen because your characters are working security at a night market. Like, that is effectively what you're doing. So you can tell a story that is more about being on the job as a security person and less about, you know, the other stuff that's going on. It's a good place to introduce rumors. It's a good place to do stuff like that. I necessarily, as the storyteller, wouldn't have one of the gangs show up because that's kind of the direction that they're led to believe it's supposed to go. I would kind of use that as a misdirection and have it, you know, be a mystery or be something else to where, like, they go into it with one expectation, but, you know, it builds into something else. I think this is a really good, like, soft refresher of what's going on. Like, sure, there's the possibility for combat and blah, 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 but this is a little more downtimey, like, active downtimey than a lot of other hooks are, so...
I was thinking, because it's definitely for, like, you know, like you said, in case a fight brings up, that's definitely what it's leaning towards. I like the idea, too, that if they're, like, hired for security, like, you as a GM can know certain things that are going on. So what happens if a fight breaks out between two vendors during setup where you stole my space, no, you got this space last time, and before, like, they get into a fight, you have to go and step in and try to calm a situation between... you know, two vendors. Did you notice the pickpocket moving around the thing? Did you let someone who's clearly carrying like a bulky coat and all these things out of the thing without patting them down or anything? Or in, and it's just like, oh, but no, we were focused on this thing that never shows up. But you kind of also didn't do a great job as security, which I think could be really fun.
Right. I would give them all of those, like, you know, security guard kind of things going on, like, you know, some kids trying to sell fake ELO cards and, you know, stuff like that.
Yep. Draw their attention because they hear gunfire down the street. Nothing ever comes out of it, but yeah, it draws their attention while things are going on. So it's like, where do you keep your...
And a whole bunch of stuff gets stolen.
Yep. Where do you keep your focus? Alright, let's move on to South Night City. Again, this one has a lot of great hooks. I'm just going to talk about a couple of them. So, first is the Slamathon. And this is Cassius Brown, owner of the Slammer, is holding the first annual Slamathon. Every crew and gang in the city is invited to send their champion to participate in a no-holds-barred tournament to determine the ultimate bare-knuckle brawling champion of Night City. Even if the crew doesn't participate, there's plenty of work to be had: sabotaging competition, preventing sabotage, collecting from deadbeats who don't pay up debts, and keeping the wild things from interfering or helping them, because the Slamathon is stealing business from the Red Line. Now, I believe the Red Line is in Watson. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain the Red Line is in Watson. I wouldn't even have that as part of this hook, personally, if you have a group.
Right.
Especially if you have a group of players who lean strongly into the warrior playstyle and really enjoy combat, but you kind of want to change a pace. A Slamathon is a great opportunity for them to show off their skills, and it's a great beach episode. Even if it's not like this,
Oh, yeah.
this specific hook of, you know, sending your champion so only the crew can have one person. If you have a group, maybe they're like, oh man, we need to, you know, we need to have this fight, or we're doing a slamathon, but a bunch of crews don't have like an actual good champion, but they want to participate, they want to be there because notoriety is a thing. So they're willing to pay like members of your crew to just wear their colors or their logos to fight in this. Like, there's tons of things you can do, but I thought as a good beach episode for people who really love combat, this is a fun way that has very like high pride stakes, but low like
Right.
combat death stakes
Overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. LCC mentioned that they're in South Night City in their current game. That's where it's set. And they're really looking forward to using the Finding Joy in Slamathon.
Nice. Nice. Finding Joy is one I almost talked about, but again, I'm limited in time and I spent a lot talking about other stuff. But that's really, really cool. That's really cool. Is there more?
They had also mentioned that... Oh, they have actually said more, yes. Before that, however, they said that they take the mission for the old net and make them do a test connection to it, to the access point. And then, you know, they wipe their hands of it. And in their game, Haskin was the one to call for the destruction of the apartment. So Finding Joy will be a great way to get them back at him.
Heck yeah, because
So.
Hackinson is the Steam manager. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to read Missing Persons. So, several South Night City residents have gone missing. Baker Street, a wannabe junior detective, investigates and finds the remnants of a broken Gunmart Smart Special and circus graffiti at the scene of one abduction. Can the crew help Baker Street solve the crime before they become the next victim? Now, this hook is brought to you by Baker Street, a student at Kids, a daycare and educational facility in South Night City, who is obsessed with Sherlock Holmes. I also love Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes stories, so I was like, oh my goodness, yes, this is fantastic. And when they're not at school, Baker Street hangs out at the South Night City Volunteer Fire Station. The crew there takes care of the kids since Baker Street lost their folks to a fight between the Enhanced and the Inquisitors a few years ago. If I haven't tugged at your heartstrings enough, I've done a horrible job. But you can now help this kid out by solving the case before Baker Street becomes the next victim in this Missing Perfect case. It's perfect for players who like to solve mysteries, or as a backstory you can create if you grew up on the streets of South Night City, maybe you volunteer at the fire station, and you know Baker Street, like there's tons of things you can do. This is one of the ones where it's like, you know, you want to have kids in your game, but you want to keep them safe. This is, I feel like, a good, safe one to include something and maybe, you know, remind your players that humanity is important and caring about people is important. And if they've been a little murder hobo-y lately, maybe just help nudge them. If Calvert's dog Craig wasn't enough, Baker Street. Help them save Baker Street.
Right. So moving on to University District, I found the mission I was talking about. It's the 5 minutes 29 seconds one, where the Philharmonic vampires want to hijack transmission frequencies to broadcast for 5 minutes and 29 seconds because that's how long the original Dracula manuscript was. And that's like their performance art thing they want help pulling off.
I love it.
Which is so ridiculous. But the one I wanted to talk about also is about hijacking. It's called Broadcast Interrupted. A rogue transmission keeps interrupting the Night City University radio station, playing the audio from a famous 1987 signal hijacking before vanishing. The pirate signal strikes at random, and the station manager is at their wits' end and willing to hire a crew and pay them money to stop that, to find who's doing it and stop it. I love that because I think this is a reference to the Mitch Hedberg broadcast interruption, which is amazing, and I love it. Mitch Hedrum. I apologize, not Hedberg. Max Headroom. My brain tonight. I apologize.
It's okay. You just combine
Which
things.
I think is amazing, if that's what they're referencing. But either way, I like the idea of there being this mysterious signal that's being broadcast, and the characters have to try to figure out what it means and where it's coming from. And for the purposes of this, stop it because the station manager is paying them to. But this is a great way to lead them into something else that's going on. Like when we had to go with, what was her name? The little doll into the Lost Vault.
Language. Drew.
Yeah, when we had to go
Dr.
do the whole Drew mission. This would be
yeah.
an interesting way to get the characters to that. So, yeah, that's all.
Sorry, it took me a moment to remember. All I remember is she constantly yelled whenever we swore. It was like, language.
And then after that, I believe I am also talking about the Upper Marina.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Oh yeah, this one I love for silly reasons. Okay, so in Bird Hunt, Pixie Sticks is a masseuse at Night City Bubbles. And they found that in an art installation, somebody used a ultra rare Goostopia figurine as part of the art installation. So they would like you to trade their uncommon Goostopia figure for the ultra rare figure so that they can have the ultra rare figure. And they're not willing to pay you, but they're willing to give you free massages in return. I think this is amazing for so many reasons, because it is more of that like collector's nonsense, and like, what are you gonna get paid with? Massages.
This is again a mission Wraith would 100% be like, yes, I will do this, because it's so wild and crazy and just. And this, I feel like Moxie Rex would be like, no.
No, we have to. This is bigger picture stuff, guys. We have to help out Pixie Sticks.
Yeah, like no.
Pixie Sticks is my old friend, and it's important
that it just met 5 minutes ago. Oh, but yeah, I do like the idea of breaking in and stealing it and swapping out a Goostopia figurine. Just does. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And finally, moving into Watson, I'm going to talk about the Grand Prix. So, gamblers and gearheads alike wait with anticipation for the announcement of the Watson Development Grand Prix. The no-holds-barred winner-takes-all motorsport event is coming up, and to keep the cops guessing, the route is only downloaded to the racers 5 minutes before the race begins. Participation is guaranteed to build street cred, and the winner walks home with a brand new set of wheels, courtesy of Turbo Neon Motors. Now, the vehicles from Turbo Neon Motors that we have seen in Black Chrome are the Paladin 500 and the Street King, and they are beautiful and they are gorgeous and they are wonderful. And the reason I brought this up is I've talked to Blake about participating in this for a number of reasons with what's going on. For my character, I was like, hey, her boss is a nomad. She's been nomad her whole life. I finally gave her points in nomad, which is nice. And I was like, this is something that she would be really interested in doing. Now, Blank can be a bit stingy with rewards, so asking for a new car when I steal a bunch of cars or claim a bunch of cars in various areas is a little iffy, but I did, yes.
We are given cars all the time. We don't get to keep them for more than a couple of episodes, but we're given cars frequently.
Sure. I've kept mine. I think one of them is going to come into a problem soon, but that's beside the point. But I talked about, if we get wheels, how that can fit in the story and maybe not overpower things. But lately I was like, you know what, can I get, and I think the Paladin is a Nomad Access 8, Street King is a 10, so you have to be up there. I'm not there yet. I think I'm gonna break it to 6. So I was like, if I remove the submachine guns, can this be the vehicle I get for my next
intro
rank?
model
For my next rank.
Manual windows.
Fuck no. It comes with a bunch of other great stuff. So I think, even if you don't use this plot hook exactly and you tailor it, if you have someone who is a nomad that is about to reach a next rank and maybe they want a better car, this could be a fun way to, maybe even give them an upgraded car, and then they can still use their access to get, an upgrade for it. Specifically, I mean, my character is unique because she doesn't actually have a clan that she is with, because her pack got massacred. So this could be, I know it's not spoilers, I think you find that out in like episode 3. But if you,
but what about all those people on episode 2?
Spoilers, I guess. So if you don't have someone, this could be a good way to get a vehicle, since they're not actually getting it from their camp, to give them a bit of an upgrade. Or if the crew wants to try to, they have to win. That's all. The big if thing is that they would have to win.
Right.
Also, if your crew needs a vehicle and something is, they want to try their luck, this could be the way that they get a vehicle. Especially if they don't have a nomad crew, but they can maybe drive. They'd have to borrow a vehicle for the Grand Prix, which could be a whole mission in and of itself.
And as a person who loves the Fast and Furious movies, any race wars are
right. Exactly. Any race wars are good.
Racing for pinks.
Yes. Maybe you can get pixie sticks instead of giving you a massage. Loan you some client's car while she's giving them a massage for an hour, so you can do this race to try to win your own thing. I think that would be fun. Now, see, if you brought that to Moxie, she would be down for that. She'd be like, all right, I see value in this now. Let's go. I'm just gonna borrow this car and race it for pigs. It's fine.
Oh, and if we lost, that'd be so sad.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be fine. And that covers a chunk of the plot hooks that are in this book. There are, I think, 130. We've talked about 26, maybe a little bit more. We've talked about at least 26. I talked about a lot more.
There's at least 100 more that we did not talk about.
Probably, yeah, close to.
Yeah.
Tons of ways to use them as a GM. Still ways to use them as a player. You have downtime activities. If your GM is okay. I mean, if I wanted to, if I wasn't, hoping to get a car out of the Grand Prix and Moxie had some time off, I could easily, just double check with Blank, make sure it was okay. That she entered this Grand Prix tournament. She didn't win, but, I could roll on some dice. Was it positive? Was it negative? How did it go for her overall? And that's a cool story that she then gets to tell, the crew of like, oh yeah, this is what I did today.
Right, yeah.
So.
I'm making so much noise, I apologize.
Just a little bit. So my final thoughts on this DLC. All the ice. I think it's a great DLC. I think it gives you a lot to play with. And how much you get out of it is really depending on your creativity. So.
I loved this DLC. It was a lot of fun to read. There's a lot of fun, cool stuff in there. I didn't like the DLC because it's for GMs.
One of these days, I'm gonna be able to throw something at you, and somewhere from your screen, it's gonna come flying through and bap you.
You're gonna hire Zelbin to throw stuff at me.
Yeah. I don't think I'd even need to hire. I think he'd just do it.
Right.
No, it is. You can use it as a player. It's not. I would say, arguably, though, it may not be as easy to use as a player than it is as a GM. But there are certainly things you can do with it.
And we've shown that.
Yeah. Games is now going to have Wraith go to Playland by the Sea and play the clock game for hours to get a Gothicorn.
Yeah.
To apologize to Veronica.
Yeah.
Don't hate me. Here's a Gothicorn. Gage, get Gage a Gothicorn. I know we ended on bad terms, but I won you this.
I come bearing this.
I don't think he would know what to do with it, but I think it would throw a blank way into left field if you showed up with a Gothicorn, and I think you should. See? Not just GM phasing. Be a player. Use it to cause chaos. Yeah. Let us know what you thought about this DLC in the comments below. And with that, I believe that will conclude this episode of Night City Sofa. Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please hit those like and subscribe buttons because it really helps me out, helps the channel out. Comment below letting us know what hooks you enjoyed, hope to bring to your game, your character, your story, all that stuff. And we will see you next week with an episode right here on Twitch on Friday. Until then, meow for now.